What to do? I mean, I've never recorded my thoughts on the show before. But I have stayed up past 2 a.m. a few times, arguing with myself about magic and everything. Can't be much harder than that, I suppose, just add a microphone. But I need to sound more consistent, more believable, enthusiastic. But what to analyze?
Well, why not me?
Yeah, Your Highness, what are you doing down here?
Or, to be more precise, why not us?
Us? You mean like changelings, right? Like changelings, us? Are you sure you know who watches these videos?
Why not? You need something interesting, don't you? What could be more interesting and mysterious than us? Besides, has anyone else analyzed us before?
Well, if I were to name a few...
You're missing the point.
Right. Well, I'll, see what I can put together. Hello everyone, my name is Prince Leader, and let me change your mind about changelings. So, changelings. In the past, they were pretty straightforward in what you expected. Black chitin, sharp fangs, green fire, and powerful magic. Pretty formidable foes for the main characters, and a stark contrast for what viewers were used to seeing, even from villains. These guys meant business. Their first appearance was in Season 2, where they were the secondary antagonists in the finale, A Canterlot Wedding. They served as the minions of Queen Chrysalis, the changeling ruler, and from the monologue that Chrysalis gave in the reception hall during her reveal, it seemed pretty clear what their mission was. Capture or control Equestria, and feed on its love. Seemed pretty good. I mean, bad. At least for Equestria, that is. But, as always, with the power of being the main character, Twilight was able to talk with Cadence while Chrysalis's back was turned. Chrysalis, up until this point, had shown herself as determined and very strategic, allowed her enemies to converse behind her, catch her off guard, and blast both her and her minions far out of Equestria for many, many months. Before their next appearance in the Cutie remark, where Twilight Sparkle is sent to multiple alternative timelines by Starlight Glimmer's altered time spell. It's here where we see an interesting dynamic between what is and what could have been with the changelings winning. Equestrian inhabitants had to hide themselves away in order to, well, who knows? Not be kidnapped? Held hostage? Loved to death? Well, maybe that last part. Well, why do you say that, you ask? Well, my faithful viewer, the only hint of what might have happened to the ponies if they were captured was in a line from a disguised Rainbow Dash, saying,
"The changelings attacked Ponyville! We barely escaped with our lives!"
Leaves very little to the imagination, if you ask me. You know, Your Highness, I don't remember you mentioning anything about killing ponies after winning the siege.
Oh, well, it was an alternate timeline, remember? Perhaps I was more evil there. Not that I'm evil, just very stressed.
Well, these are kind of the bigger mentions and nods to the changelings as a whole before Where and Back Again, with a few nods to changelings like Kevin and Thorax appearing briefly in episode backgrounds, and then the introduction of Thorax as a secondary character and friend of Spike in The Times They Are a Changeling, which to this day is one of my personal favorite episodes, as it was almost a play out of how I imagine a character befriending a changeling and introducing them to the nobility. In fact, it was almost a carbon copy in my eyes. Just add a bit more to Thorax's backstory and his struggles in the tundra, and we got it sounding like a 42-chapter-long fanfic. Alright, now that we've talked about the changelings in the past, and started mentioning Thorax, we can't ignore a certain canon fact of the show now.
Watch yourself, Prince. Be aware of your audience.
Well, the events that transpired in To Where and Back Again created quite a change for, well, changelings, and gave more interest in Thorax as a character. Instead of leaving him as a secondary support character like, say, the Cutie Mark Crusaders or Spike, they turned him into a plot-driving character. Now, I know, in most cases this is usually a bad thing, and at first I was not a particular fan of this use of him as a character, as I had, naturally, grown closer to him as being a canon changeling who, in essence, acted a lot like myself. But, after some closer examination, as well as some research into the mindsets of the writers and animators, the redesign of the changelings served a purpose of signifying change in their culture as a whole. More importantly, it created a way for the viewers, so used to seeing pastel, brightly colored characters, to relate more to the changelings, seeing them as less as monsters and villains, and more like the good guys. However, this can also be taken differently. While the idea seems pretty nice, the changelings are good now, yay! It can also be seen as the changelings are now different. And I don't mean different for the betterment of themselves, but different in order to be accepted by the equestrians.
That would explain the color scheme, as well as the more infantile-like mindset they've fallen into. Such a waste of potential.
Look at it this way. The changelings just saw their queen, the one they all followed under, get bested in mere moments. They see the one who did this transform into a bright, shining beacon of love and power. Then they hear Starlight, a pony, tell them that
This is what happens when you give love freely instead of taking it!
one changeling looks around, most likely taking in the design of the other ponies hanging above them, and does the same as Thorax, releasing that pent-up love and transforming to match the brightly colored heroes. The others see this, and soon follow suit. I find an issue with this. The issue is less with the new design, though I could argue against that too, but with the implications that the new design presented. Remember after watching Celestial Advice, the main hall of Twilight's castle was packed full of both ponies and changelings, seemingly getting along rather well a little too quickly. It seemed almost like the ponies no longer feared the changelings. Less so because they were now acting more open and kind, because Thorax had been doing that for at least a few weeks, but because they looked more friendly, more pony-like. These episodes take place one after the other, and it kinda gives the interpretation that the changelings changed to simply be accepted by the equestrians, who up until this point had been downright terrified of them. They changed themselves to hide the fact that they were like Chrysalis, that they helped Chrysalis, and that they were once seen as the bad guys. They changed how they looked so no one would be afraid of them anymore. It's kinda like taking the saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover," and adding a few lines to the end. Don't judge a book by its cover, just change the cover. This is where a lot of people have issues with the lesson these episodes showed. You either saw it as the intended love will always prevail against hate, or if you can't fight 'em, join 'em. It seems rather stark of a contrast, don't you think? Now, with all of that said, where does that leave us? Half of the Changeling fandom seems to keep to the old tried and true, like yours truly, while others have accepted this new lifestyle and simply gone with the flow of change. What do you think? Should the Changelings have physically changed their appearance to gain acceptance? Or should they have remained the same, maybe adding a few bits and pieces of diversity, like Thorax's brother Pharynx? Let me know in the comments below. and I'll try to make another episode on this topic dealing with your answers. Until next time, my name is Prince Leader, and we will talk to you all later.